So all that this tradition is really doing is kind of giving us a structure or something to grow around. Like plants never stop growing. And if we stop, we kind of get bored because it's really, our brain keeps on connecting, it keeps on developing, and it's just the way we're built. And again, this tradition, this advice that our ancestors gave us, it's really all just, for the best of us, that, it kind of makes sense that it should be that way, and that's what they wanted. So there's this verse actually saying, Lulei Toratcha Shashu'ai az avadati be'oni. It's King David saying, without your Torah, without this, structure, Shashu'ai means like my game, something I play with, then I would be lost in my poorness. And what does that mean? Like, I think if, without this tradition, without giving us that structure to play with, and something to think more over and over, then I'd be lost in my poorness. Like, we have this poorness, we'll kind of be lost in our boredom. We'll feel poor because if you're on your own without exploring the world, without interacting, without really interactions, without relationships with yourself, without relationships with your environment, you're going to be lost in your poorness. You're going to feel poor, and you're going to get to a point where you feel like there's no meaning to all this, and there's no hope because it's all coming over and over again. The same things happen, ups and downs, blah blah, and you kind of feel like you figured it all out, and you'll be lost because you'll feel poor, because you'll feel like there's nothing else to life. But we're given this Torah, this tradition and tools and rules and rituals and things to ponder, and that's what I'm doing. Every time you kind of get to, so that's what I'm saying. Like the structures, it's kind of like a tool of like every time you come to it, you could learn something new if you really introspect in yourself. It says like you keep on studying it, you keep on learning, and you're going to find everything because it's really learning about yourself. Like last week, Shlach Lecha, the Torah portion says, send to yourself spies. So it's kind of like, and again, that's what I'm saying. Like every time you learn something new from it, and so it's the story basically of the spies going to Israel, coming back and giving bad news. The land is so beautiful, but it's so terrifying, and there are giants there. And but if you keep on twisting it, you're going to find everything. As kids, we learned about the story of like, the spies came back and said bad words. So as kids, you learn that you shouldn't say bad things. You shouldn't speak negatively about people. It's called lashon hara in Hebrew. Like don't speak negatively because that's going to destroy. The Jews had to wander 40 years in the desert because of those people saying something bad thing about the land. So you learn from that not to say bad things. Now this is what you learn in kindergarten, and every year you kind of like spiral up. So you get this. A year passes by, you go through the whole Torah, and you get back to the same place, same story, but this time you learn something else. This time, so as kids you learn that this story is talking about not to speak bad about things or bad about people. But then the next year you learn, oh my gosh, the story of the spies. The spies are talking about how they felt so small compared to all these people, and said, "Haynu kechagavim be'enenu ve'keniyeh be'enem." Like we felt like grasshoppers in our eyes, and because we saw ourselves as grasshoppers, that's how they saw us. So, the next year in the spiral, you go to the same story, and you learn something different. You learn that that if you look at yourself as small, you're gonna feel, other people are gonna see you in a small way. And in the next year, now I'm getting back to the same story last week, and Shlach Lecha, send to yourself spies, like, go into yourself. Getting back to that premise of Eretz Yisrael, like the land of Israel is kind of like maybe an analogy to your mission or something. Send into yourself. That's what I was saying about Aaron and the candle, facing towards the center, facing towards yourself. So send to yourself spies. Try and look at this goals. Look at your destiny, your goal, your mission, and your little inner voices are coming back. And 10 out of 12 say, "This is too much. It's huge. There are giants there." And said Nephilim and Anakim, they said that the followers, the sons of the giants. So saying the giant things in your future, but there'll be a lot of falls. The sons of these giants are falls. You might look at this next mission that you have in life as a giant thing, but it's going to bring a lot of falls. Maybe you shouldn't do it. And 10 out of 12 of your inner voices will tell you don't do it because it's too scary, and it's better for you to keep on doing what you're good at. And 2 out of them will tell you yes, you can. Like little voices and say, maybe you can. Those are the baby voices, and that's what we need to do, baby steps. But and you're gonna probably you might even listen to those 10 voices, and that's why you're gonna have to wander 40 more years before you actually achieve your goals. It's gonna take longer if you listen to those voices. But what I'm saying is, you keep on going to the same stories, and you learn every time something new. And I think this is the coolness of staying alive. Like I said, plants don't stop growing, and you're alive. You want to keep on learning and keep on going up. It's a spiral, but if you really internalize it, and it's sha'ashu'ai. These are things to enjoy, to play with. Play around with it. Look at those words. Listen and what they mean to you. Shlach lecha. Send it to yourself. So those are like my little insights that I just wanted to share with you my my joy. It's a pleasure. It's something to play with. And I hope I'm not going to be lost in importance, because I did get to points where I just felt bored with life. But your soul is endless, and like I said, if plants don't stop growing, then our psyche doesn't stop growing. It's just reality. Things grow. So if you keep on looking into yourself, you keep on exploring. There's a site called Appreciative Inquiry. Just Google it, Appreciative Inquiry. You take this exam that psychologists recommend to take it every few months, and you find your virtues and strengths, and you should apply those. You could take exercise how to apply those, because it's healthy. If you don't apply your strengths, it becomes frustration. So there's these tools of growth. And please let's not get lost in our poorness and us thinking that life is boring, because it's so exciting. There's always what to do. And last week we figured that we shouldn't get too scared of those voices, but we learned that those voices are in us. And you could share with me whatever comes up to you. Share with everyone. Life is about growth. We need each other. Bye.